Going on, everybody? What is going on? Welcome to the STS Guys Podcast. I am Scott.
Hey, it's Larry.
Hey guys, it's Nate.
And we are the STS Guys, the weekly podcast that gets together to shoot the shit and talk about everything geeky, nerdy, and cool. This week on episode 99, right? Episode 99, one away from our big one. We actually have a special guest here. We do have Josh, whose tag is, I think, prime2da1st.
Yep.
Is on here, and it's going to be best. Let's go through, kind of explain to it what it is that you do, because your niche is so amazingly awesome but specific. I think it would do it justice if I tried to describe it. So kind of tell us, what is some of the stuff that you put together, because it's super cool.
Well, thanks. What I think my niche right now is 1/12 scale arcades for everyone's collectibles. You know, they can set up the scenes correctly and relive those childhood memories.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I discovered Josh, probably, I don't know, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, maybe. I've been following him for a long time.
Josh, how long have you been making the arcade cabinets?
Probably 2 to 3 years. I started. It's funny because I started making dials just kind of for myself, and then one of my buddies challenged me, and he's like, "Hey, you should try to make an arcade." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll take a crack at it." And it literally just snowballed into what you guys see on my page now.
Very cool. So Nate was an early adopter.
Yeah,
he was. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly when I bought, because I have a TMNT arcade cabinet, and I had seen him post some, and I've always been tempted. And then I saw the TMNT that he had posted, and I had to hop on it. And I was so impressed when I got it. Really well made, looks incredibly accurate to how I remember it in the arcade, and they're great for shots because they scale really well with 6-inch and 7-inch figures. So I'm a huge fan of what he does. It's really good work.
Thanks, Nate.
Ooh.
Yeah. If you guys haven't checked him out, make sure to check out prime2da1st on Instagram. He's always selling arcade cabinets. I know he just had a big sale. He might take a little break. Who knows? He's always selling something. But I know he's kind of like a one-man army. So it's amazing what you're able to crank out and the different properties that you cover.
Yeah. So Nate's got the Turtles one, right?
Yeah.
Which I think everybody remembers.
Yeah.
That was a great arcade game.
One of my favorite. That is one of my favorite. I should say, the real life cabinet is one of my childhood tops. And if I could ever find an actual working version of that to put in my house, that's the first one going in.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I keep every single model of a prototype of the arcade I make. Yeah. So literally, I have every single arcade I've made, I have in my collection.
Cool. So, that was going to be my question. How many different ones do you think you've made?
I think I have probably close to 15 different models.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, right, we're recording this live Saturday night. We'll throw up the audio probably Sunday, early Monday at the latest. Once the audio version drops, I'll throw up a bunch of pictures on our Instagram story.
Nice.
So if you go follow us at STS Guys, it'll take you directly to Josh's Instagram too. Of course, but you'll be able to see, just a variety of the cool stuff he's made.
Yeah. Going through the list, it's not the arcade cabinets, but one of the things I was looking at is you make the little DVD boxes things.
Oh yeah.
Looking at those at that tiniest scale, it's that is amazing. It's those little details, I think, that if somebody has something like that in a picture, that's going to make it kind of elevate that photo to that realism. There's only so much you can do with that figure alone. So having those little things it's so cool. I was looking at all the ones that you had in some of the pictures that you put up.
Yeah.
And there's quite a few that are in there.
Yeah.
But you make a vending machine. I saw you made an Xbox recently. So are you starting to branch out a little bit and maybe experiment?
Yep. I'm starting to try different templates, try different skills, I did an Xbox, the PS2, just really things that I'm I remember when I had when I was growing up, So the PS2, I even made the little stand that's that we used to sit it in, so sometimes they could stand vertical, and it just nostalgic. It hit the nostalgic button for me.
That's awesome.
I think that's a good ditch to attack, right? We all love, like, the nostalgic games, or the consoles, or like Josh said, or not Josh, you're Josh. Like Scott said, the DVDs. You also make like the comic books too.
Oh, I was just about to say that, Larry. So it's funny. The mini comics, I did them for myself, and then I couldn't stop. I just had to like make every single comic I owned. I was like, I'm gonna make every single comic. So it's like I'm holding it, my figures are holding it, and then one of my friends came over. He gave me a list. And he's like, oh, can you make me like the Venom Protector, Lethal Protector set? I'm like, yeah. And then next thing you know, it was just like, again, people started getting a handle of it, and I started getting requests, like all crazy sorts of requests, very specific issues too. So that got a little challenging, but it was fun.
So I'm going to throw a question up here for it. It is from our friend Ed here. So he wants to know, out of your collection, what is your favorite?
Favorite arcade or favorite figure?
Let's go both, because I think these are going to be vastly different. That's going to be a good
man. So favorite arcade would probably be the X-Men 6-player. So I just started tackling that like 2 months ago, and every single time it's like the most complicated arcade I make, because I make it in 2 separate pieces, and I put 2 little magnets so it connects. But I try to make it as accurate as possible, the little decals in it. But I love the arcade. Like, I used to spend hours and hours playing the X-Men. So the 6-player one, it's like one of my favorites. I hate making it, but I love it. I love it. Once it's all done, I'm like, damn, that thing's a beauty.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking at the picture of it right now, and it looks very intricate. Like you said, you have to build that big piece just for the platform so everybody can have a spot, and then you got to build like the other piece with the screen. I was wondering, when you get like the little picture of the actual game in progress, because my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one has it right there. So do you take like a screenshot from, I don't know, like Google or something, and then you put it behind that?
Yep.
That's
awesome.
I
usually take a screenshot, and then sometimes customers will request specific screenshots. Like the Marvelous Capcom, they're like, "Oh, my favorite's Gambit, Blackheart, and Cable." And I'm like, I am not going to be able to find a photo like that specific. I could probably find one of those 3 characters, and I try to get some cool, like very memorable characters that everybody is usually pretty familiar with.
Yeah, you do a really excellent job of nailing the look, like you said. I mean, it's straight out of the arcade. Like the Simpsons one, I played a ton of. The X-Men, like you said, the 6-player. TMNT, I was always playing. And every time I see you post a new one, because you've been posting a ton of different games. You got NBA Jam now. You got Mortal Kombat.
Yep.
I mean, you got all kinds of stuff. It's insane. Just the detail that you put into it. Even the Operation Wolf. I saw that you did with the gun placement. I mean, that's insane.
So that one was funny because I haven't been able to branch outside of more games that I want to tackle. So one of my customers, he has like a list of arcades he wants me to tackle. We tackle them, month by month as, he wants me to finish them and stuff. And he gave me a challenge. He's like, hey, can you do this Operation Wolf? And he's like, I'm challenge accepted. I'll take it. See how it comes out. And I think it came out pretty wicked. A lot of people really like that one. So that one kind of sparked for me to start tackling now these next couple months. I'm gonna start tackling the shooter games like Time Crisis.
I was legitimately gonna just ask if you ever thought about doing like Time Crisis or like Dino Crisis or any of those little with the guns.
So for September I have Area 51 slated, and then Time Crisis hopefully to follow up soon, and then T2 for October.
The one with the mounted machine gun one.
Oh
yeah,
awesome too.
That is so awesome.
I got that, and then Cruising USA hopefully will be.
Are you going to do an actual like seating Cruising USA? Holy crap!
That's cool.
That's insane, man.
Yeah.
So I mean, outside of cruising, which I think adding the seats going to do a little like kind of walk us through like how do you go about like even building these things? Like what's the process to say somebody comes in with a new cabinet? Like how do you go about building these?
So the side panels are built out of balsa wood. And I usually sketch out the design of it on the balsa wood, and then I have a couple of scroll saws that I use to kind of cut out the angles and stuff like that. And then once I cut them out, do a lot of sanding to really get it smooth. And then the other pieces are made out of XPS foam. So I have a Proxon cutter that really, having that Proxon cutter, you can cut some like really exact angles. Your cuts are smooth; they're always going to be 90 degrees. And then just kind of piecing them together.
That's crazy. Yeah, I was surprised when I got mine how sturdy it feels.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't know you had made it out of balsa wood, and I started looking. I'm like, holy shit, this is balsa wood. Like,
Yeah.
I expected it to be like maybe a thick cardboard or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, you really put some craftsmanship in this thing, and it's really sturdy.
And thanks, Nate. And it took me a while to find the correct thickness because the like very first couple arcades I made, they were a little too thin, so they start snapping. And originally I started making them just for myself and my friend who was like, "Hey, make me an arcade. You think you can make me?" I think my very first one was Killer Instinct. So I was like, "All right." And then I got like it was like I went from too thick to like too thin, so I had to find the right thickness that it was sturdy enough that wouldn't break when I would be shipping them out, or if you drop it, setting up a shot, sometimes like a heavy figure can fall on it. So it's the right thickness that it's not going to snap on you.
Yeah, I've been setting up shots, and I'll knock it over or something, but I'm never worried about it breaking or anything because it's so sturdy. Even like the little pins that you use for like the joysticks, and I don't know what you're using for like the buttons, but is that like half a pin or something? Like cut it in half, or?
That's a secret that I can.
Okay.
Everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't tell us all your
go
secrets,
into those trade. You're trying to get them to drop some trade secrets.
You're trying to like reverse engineer as you're looking at it, like how I wouldn't even be able to remake this because I don't even know
all
what
those
to
are
use.
real buttons, and I just shrink them with pinpoint.
Well, that's what I was looking at it too, and I was like, how do you go about like getting the logos on the side, like the decals for it? Because getting those, like I would think that would be the hardest thing, is to get what the sticker on the side needs to be.
A good image, it has to be real clean, and then the right size, because once you scale it down, like I've made arcades for SHF figures, and those are a little bit smaller than your typical Marvel Legends, so I had to make them a little bit smaller. So just finding the right image and kind of messing with my printer settings like that, and then once I figure it out, then I just kind of save the file. So at this point, I've kind of got it down to a science where I'm like, oh, I can just print once. Where probably like 2 years ago, I'd be printing like 20 pages just trying to figure out the size.
Right, kind of what looks good, and like, oh crap, that's the right picture, but not the right resolution for the shrink. So that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you shrink it down into 1/12, are you going by like an exact measurement to get it to like a 1/12, or like you said, because you're using different lines? How do you decide like how big everything needs to be and putting that all together?
It's funny because I've acquired a ton of Spidey figures, which probably my favorite character is from DC is Batman, and then from Marvel, I like them all, right? I like Spidey, the Thing, Hulk is probably like one of my favorites, but I have like a massive amount of Spideys ever since the Toy Biz era. So I just used right now I'm using the Spider-Man from the PS4 game as my standard. Like I just stand him up and he's my scale, because he's kind of like not too small. He's a little bit bigger than your average pizza Spidey, but then he's not too big. He's not like a Colossus or something like that. Yeah,
I've noticed like in a lot of your shots when you switch it up with figures, but a lot of the times you'll see that Spidey kind of come up and
or whoever my favorite Marvel Legend is at the time, because I was using that Deadpool for like a good moment too.
Well, which is so smart, I think, when you put the figures in with what you're trying to, the new cabinet that you have, like, hey, because it's hard if you just see a picture of it by itself, like how big is that really, or how would my figure actually scale up to it? So when you see like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle or a Marvel Legends next to it, you're like, okay, that's actually pretty perfect height.
And really, like when I started posting the pictures more recently, you can see in my posts, I'll put different figures because I get so many questions. A lot of collectors are like, well, I only get Storm collectibles, or I only have NECA stuff. So I've been putting, okay, let me put a Marvel Legend, and then I'll put a NECA, then I'll put a Storm collectible, then I put a Mezco. So like that, I cover all my bases,
Yeah, and nowadays, like you said, there's so many different new lines coming out. And all of them are a little bit different in size. Like Storm Collectibles is a little bit bigger. NECA's a little bit bigger. Marvel Legends is kind of like average. And then SHF is smaller. So getting something that really is usable for all of that, I think would be a real challenge. But you seem to do a really good job at it.
Oh, thanks. No, I try to find like the right size so you don't have to I don't have to shrink them down too much. Or if you're that particular collector, you're like, it's too small for me, or that's too big for me,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. So I have to ask, how did you actually get started doing this? Like what made you want to start trying it? I mean, I'm sure you've probably been tinkering for a long time and then all of a sudden decided to make it more of a business.
Oh, I think it was just all out of luck and really my inner circle, those people that I started discovering on IG. So I've been on IG since 2014. And I really originally started my account just selling all my figures because I used to be a mock collector. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get rid of this. I haven't collected in a long time. I used to have like a really, really large collection in storage, like your typical collector. And then my storage got broken into. I lost a bunch of my stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start selling it. So I started posting it up. And then I started discovering the toy community. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to open them up. So then I just started opening up everything. It was like Christmas all over again.
That's so funny. I have like a similar story because when I first got onto Instagram, I was also a mint on card collector. Yeah. I didn't really open a lot of stuff. A lot of my stuff was like these vintage Batman figures and the Kenner and the TMNT. And then as I started discovering more people on Instagram and like, you know, people that were doing toy photography, I'm like, shit, I can't, you know, I need to break this stuff out and start enjoying it. And I've actually enjoyed that part of collecting much more than when I was just collecting stuff on card because I can actually play with it, and the toy photography kind of gives me an excuse to do that. So it's funny how you kind of evolve over time.
Yeah, and it was funny because during that time, like my storage got broken into. I lost they took the whole entire pit wave. I had it all mock, and then I lost half of my Fing Fang Foom, and I was like crying for like days. You know, I was like, that's it. I'm done with this. I don't want
nothing will make a grown man cry quicker than taking away a couple of his toys.
And it was funny because they took every single I had the whole pit wave and even the variants, and I was like, they took all of them. They were I was like, and they had some like X-Men posters and like just man, it just like hurt. I was like, and some Transformers, some G1 stuff.
Oh no. Yeah, and those two Build-A-Figures you're talking about, those are like super rare too. The Fing Fang Foom.
Out of everything I had, and I had my whole entire collection. And I used to be collecting since Marvel Legends came out with the Spider-Man classics, you know. So it went it was really hurtful.
Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that happen.
Yeah, but now it's and then it started kind of evolving. To kind of answer your question was, I started seeing what everybody was doing. I was opening them up. And then one of my buddies was like, hey, open up your Sentinel Wave, because I had all the figures for that Marvel Legends Toy Biz Sentinel Wave. So I opened them all up, and I was like, oh, I love this. Like, I'm going to start. But I just needed an environment so I can take my pictures, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I started messing around, started doing a lot of YouTube tutorials on just watching guys build dioramas. And I'm like, oh, let me try my hand at this. Did one dial. And then I started practicing a little bit more and more. And then one of my buddies was like, dude, you got kind of like a niche. Like, make me a dial. I was like, all right. I made him a dial. And I was like, here, just give me enough to cover the materials, right? And next thing you know, he's like, oh, make me another one. And then from there, it's just like all I was doing was dials. And I didn't have any time to shoot my figures, but I was seeing what people were doing with my dials. And it was like so inspirational. It was crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's got to be cool to get to see like your work in other people's pictures, to know that they wouldn't be able to get that shot without the one that we're using as the thumbnail for this is Nate with his Turtles figures playing the Turtles game. How
that picture that was crazy. It's like all of a sudden I was like, oh, thanks, Nate. Like I blew up my DMs and
yeah, well, so all right, so story, right? I missed it too, but Nate posted up the picture of Shredder with some Foot Clan soldiers playing on the Turtles machine, and NECA reposted on their story. Right?
Crazy.
And then you said thank you to Nate. That's how I saw. I totally missed Nate's post, and I don't follow NECA. But you said thank you, Nate. Nate reposted that. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I went to the NECA thing. I messaged Nate. I'm like, dude, that's so cool. You got featured on NECA.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, that's awesome. Like, he's like, Josh reached out. He was like super happy too because it's advertising for him. I'm like, that's really cool. I'm like, dude, we should have him on the podcast.
Yeah.
That's how, right? It's because of the NECA picture that I'm like, we need to talk to this guy. I want to learn more about these arcade cabinets and stuff.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy the type of attention that it's been drawing. I've gotten a lot of international buyers too. So I've shipped kind of to London. I got one going to Spain. I have a regular that's out in Sweden.
Wow,
that's crazy, right? They to have your stuff go all over the country like that too. It's really cool.
Yeah, I'm like, I wish I could hand deliver it. That'd be awesome.
Right.
Pay you a little bit extra to
I'm like, it's gonna be a high fee, but I'll be there in person.
So go through here. So we did have a question that somebody wanted to go through. He says it's not kind of line, but what are the, I guess, going rate of the cabinets?
They start 2 players are $45 shipped in the US. And then the 4 players are $50 shipped, and then the X-Men 6 player is 70 right now. And that drives, like, I had to adjust the prices. USPS, the shipping to ship out stuff kind of raised up. Where I was getting my materials, they just stopped carrying them at all. So then I had to go to this other provider, and then that guy charges more. So I was like, you're killing me.
Jump the price up.
Yeah, I've been noticing that too.
Damn you, commerce.
Yeah.
Yeah, even when I sell like action figures, I've been noticing it's costing me more and more to ship figures nowadays.
Yeah.
Oh, it never goes down.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I try to set up like this online so I can do the shipping straight from home instead of always having to go to the post office. But the service I was using, they increased their price too. So I'm like, now I have to go to the post office. And that's just like scheduling all that out. Like when you have like 20 to 30 orders to ship out, it's just like time consuming. And I think a lot of times people forget, like I still have like a regular day job that's like super demanding. And I got like 2 little ones that like, I'm not just sitting here in my toy room making arcades all day long. I wish I could, but
which would be awesome.
That's everyone's dream job.
And it's funny. A lot of one guy would hit me up and he put in like a massive order, and I we got them all done like in about 2 months or 3 months, and he's like, "Do you have a day job?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, I thought you did this 24/7." I was like, "No, I wish."
Hell no.
One day.
One day.
That's the goal, Yeah.
So right now, while we're talking about like kind of selling the cabinets and stuff, right now you mostly sell everything directly through your Instagram page?
Right, through the Instagram page. I'm working right now with, let me bring this up real quick. The Figure Collective, they have a website where they specifically are 1/12 scale. So they'll be selling some of my cabinets there that I won't be offering on Instagram anymore. So any styles that I don't offer on Instagram, they'll be exclusively offered through there.
That's awesome.
And I think we talked a little bit before, they're going to offer other 1/12 scale stuff too, right? So not just your cabinet. So if you're looking for other props or dioramas, it's going to be cool.
Head sculpts, soft goods,
nice. So cool.
3D printed stuff. Really cool. So he's trying to get all these customizers together. So it's like a one-stop shop for all of us collectors.
That's such a smart idea, because I think that's one of the hardest things just being in that community is discovering people. Like you discover people through other people. You're like, oh, I didn't know, where'd you get this head sculpt, or where'd you get that arcade cabinet? Like when I post shots of your arcade cabinet, I get at least, 4 or 5 people that will DM me like, where did you get that? Did you make that yourself? And I'm pointing somebody to you. But if there's like a central location where I can go, I'm like, hey, I need a head sculpt or I need something else. That's super smart to me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and go through, I gotta imagine it's fairly difficult when you're like at a 1/12 scale, when you're like, I need a chair, and then like, well, shit, where am I gonna go to find a 1/12 scale chair?
And like the sizing's so off too, because like even more ledges aren't exact 1/12 scale. If you mix different lines, like you're gonna be off by a couple centimeters, and that makes the huge difference. Like all of a sudden you have a chair and it looks like a toddler's chair on your Deadpool,
Right, but then you put in like a Spider-Man, and it looks like he's like a child. You're like, what? How? Why?
Well, I like what you said too about how like you take the pictures and you try to show the different types of figures next to your pieces. That way people can see the scaling. Like if you just buy something random off of Amazon that says 1/12 scale, like it's not, they don't know that it's for somebody who collects Marvel Legends or Mezco. Like it's this random 1/12 scale maybe, so you don't know what you're getting. At least the site sounds it's going to be specific towards action figure photography and that stuff too.
It will be. Yeah, it is. And so starting with the dials, after I probably haven't made a diorama like in a year and a half or so, just because these arcades have like taken off so much, and it's really like propelled me where like I'm just solely focused on making arcades. And now like, okay, what's next? What else can I do? How can I make it even better? Because that's really what it is, what's about. Like every arcade I try to make, I'm like, okay, how can I make this better? How can I make it, the quality's still there, and better than like a couple months ago. I want to see some type of progression.
And I think you're doing it because like the 6 player, that's bigger and more complex. I forget the name of the game, but the one with the gun, like you got
Operation Wolf.
Yeah, Operation. Yeah. Like you've definitely stepped it up from just like it's a lot cooler than just recreating like a Miss Pac-Man or something.
Yeah.
What I saw just recently. Sorry, Scott, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I'm very curious to see when you get like the Area 51 and Time Crisis up, because those type of arcades were like the funnest ones in the thing. But they, like I said, it's the gun on the string aspect, I think, is gonna be super cool to see.
Yeah, when I had the Operation Wolf, like it's funny, I have them all like set up in one of the in my garage and stuff, and I have them all laid out, and I'm like, I got like a full arcade. It looks like a Dave and Buster's in here. Like,
that's so awesome. I would love to just root through that and be like, okay, I'm going to use these, or like have an entire like room full of them.
Yeah,
that'd be amazing.
You do. I know you're focused on making stuff, right, on the props, but do you do a little bit of action figure photography? You'd say.
I do. Oh no, I do, and it was so funny because at the beginning of this year, I was like, I'm gonna stop making stuff. I'm going to take a break, and I'm just going to focus on my toy photography. Like, I have a really good camera. I got a DSLR, all that stuff. I'm like, I'm going to get my lights. And I'm like, I'm going to stop making dials, and I'm going to start, like, I started buying some extreme sets, which I really liked. I was like, cool, easy setup, easy to break down, put away, mix them up with my dials. It's going to be all about me. Nope. Our doors came in, and so it hasn't given me enough time to do some toy photography, but I do dabble in it.
Yeah, and you're a huge collector too. You know, you can see right behind you, you've got a bunch of different figures.
Right. And you got at least 3 D-tops that are full of Lucy's behind you.
Right? I still love the fact that when you say D-top, like any collector knows what that goddamn thing is.
It's a thing, man.
Yeah.
You know, when you have some D-tops in the background, that's like you hit a certain level. You know, your badge, you're like, I'm level 2.
I've had one for years that I didn't know was like this collector thing. I need to like wheel it back over here because apparently that's the amazing.
That's your status quo.
That's the status quo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have to fill that shit with some stuff.
So I think like
and threw them in the D-tops.
Yeah. So what's your, like, I see a Joker back there, Superman. Like, what's your like? Do you have one figure that you love above all the others?
That's a tough one.
Geez, one figure. If I had to,
what else? Or one line?
I would try to grab as many Mezcos as I can because I'm like, hey, like Mezcos, that's it.
Yeah,
all the bad stuff that everyone talks about, I could care less, but Mezco, like that's it for me right there.
Yeah. I've got really into that line. I'm glad to see that you enjoy it too. You know, I get a lot of people like there's some controversy because they sometimes will delay pre-orders or, you know, sometimes a figure comes out and it's got a single jointed elbow. I get it.
Yeah.
But, you know, the line itself is just, it's such a premium line. And when you see that figure, like some of the Batman that they have, you get that in hand, you're like, holy shit, this thing is amazing. You know, compared to some other stuff. And, you know, I love all kinds of different lines, but there's something about a Mezco when I open it for the first time, you know, it's just like really hits you. Yeah. Is there like maybe one Mezco in your collection that is your favorite or?
I'd probably say the SDCC cap.
Yes.
Like one of the first ones. Like that's gotta be like my favorite. That look, it's classic.
Is that the one that came in the cool like tin thing?
Yeah.
Shield.
Yeah, the shield, the circle one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one was cool.
Yeah, I gotta say him and like probably Popeye. Popeye is like, I think, an underdog for me. I had him already on pre-order. I was like, but when he came in, I got blown away by the realism on him, and I was like, damn.
Very cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I kind of wish I would have got the STCC cap. I think I was at STCC that year as my first year, and I was like, you know, maybe I'll get him later. And then I immediately regretted it because he was sold out almost instantly after that. But
we saw him at Ace Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Like some booth, right? The booth where you bought that got a good deal on the Shazam. That was the first time I had seen it. And yeah, that's why it stands out to me because I'm like, wait a minute, this doesn't come in the normal like Mezco box.
Yeah,
it's a really cool thing. I'm like, that's
the metal tin with the shield on the top. Like that's awesome.
Yeah, I kind of go by the rule of thumb now. If it's a Mezco exclusive, there's a 90% chance I'm just going to go ahead and buy it because when you miss out on those, you really regret it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that after, and it's funny because at first when Mezco first rolled out with the Dark Knight Batman, was not into it at all. One of my friends started giving away a bunch of his figures, and he gave me that Mezco. That was like my first. He's like, here, I'm walking away. You can have it. So I got it in hand. And I was like, okay, it's all right, it's all right. And then my other friend was like, dude, you have just get this Batman vs Superman Mezco. You got to get it. Got a gift card. I got it. I was just like blown away. I was like, oh, damn, I think I'm hooked now. So that Batman vs Superman, like that's it.
I always hate that moment when you're like, god damn it, I'm buying more of these.
Oh, yeah. That started a snowball effect. Like I think I at one point I had like 10 pre-orders. I'm like, oh, I'm done. I'm done for the year.
Yeah. Yeah, these guys know.
The 11th. Then they dropped the 11th, and you had to get that one too.
The pre-order list continues. Like 2 of them came in this week. I got my Netflix Punisher, and then I got the PX Sovereign Knight Batman. So.
Man, I'm waiting on mine to get.
My god!
Been shipping for like 9 days now. I'm like, please.
Oh, it's so good. And then I see what people have done and mixed the black version with the blue. Oh,
I saw that too.
More.
Yeah. Well, I always get I always commend people that have the bravery to customize, especially like a Mezco, which is it's an expensive figure.
Yeah, I was gonna say if I'm paying $100 for something, I am not.
No, I'm not touching it.
I'm not touching it. It's what it is in the box is what it's gonna be. Yeah.
But you see some people popping arms off and popping legs off and swapping out parts. I'm like, oh god. I don't have nearly enough skill to be touching it like that.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I see away from that. I see the dollar signs as they pull that arm off. I'm like,
Yeah.
You ain't fixing that.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, you got a pretty impressive Hydra army too. I've seen in your pictures. So Legends, Toy Biz, that's kind of been a staple of your collection for a long time, right?
Yeah. So Hydra is like my biggest thing. Like I was so, I don't know, just unraveled about the whole Hydra, especially when Cap came out and he was like on the Hydra. Everything I was going with the comics and stuff. And it was so funny because when the Hydra soldiers were at retail, I kept passing on them. I was like, it's just a bunch of Hydra. I'm just trying to focus on the main characters and just get the wave and that's it. And then once I was like, I need a Hydra army. Then that's when I was really into toy photography and I realized people army build. And I was like, that was like another curse that I ran across. It's army building. And then I got carried away. I probably have like, 24, 25 Hydra soldiers.
Damn.
And then I'm like, I got my Hydra army. Cool. What else do I need? I need suits. I got like, I don't know, now close to like 24 suits. I'm like, what else can I army build? So I probably need to stop army building.
No, you're right though. You want to, like, I started doing that with the Joker goons. I always use like a Joker goon in my shot, and then it started giving me an idea. Like, I need to army build more than just this.
Yeah,
having backfill characters is like a huge piece of it. Like just filling up the scene a little bit.
Yeah, and Nate can contest it. I've always told him when we see like some of these background figures, I'm like, you have to use them because they're not maybe the main focus, but having those additional bad guys in your shots it makes it a comic book shot. Like you gotta have the filler.
Yeah. There's and then I started getting like army building props too. So like the X-Files McFarlane figures, they came with really good props with like these alien capsules, these dead bodies, and so I found this guy on the Facebook marketplace. He was selling them dirt cheap, and I was like, how many do you have? I'll take them all. Like I probably had like a dozen of each, like the little bodies with the stretcher, and it's crazy. Like now I'm like, okay, I'm set. I can do a whole lab shot now.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Well, like what is that, the new DC multiverse wave that just came out? Like there's an Alfred.
Yeah,
like, that kind of stuff's cool, right? Like there's so many Batmans, but you only get a few Alfreds every
right. Oh yeah,
it's
hence why
it's fun.
Yeah, hence why that Jim Gordon that Nate just picked up that came with the working bat signal was such a cool figure. Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot in it, but what you got was two things that you're probably not going to get again.
Yeah. Oh, and that bat signal is so cool. Like it lights up the whole. Like you can see the bat signal across in my room and stuff, and I'm like, damn, it's pretty strong light.
You could use that as a night light. Like that's actually works out pretty well.
True.
You would say
yeah. I totally agree. I've wanted the bat signal for a really long time, and when the Mezco one came out and I saw it in person, I was like, holy shit, this thing is way better than I even expected it to be. And like you said, it's really bright. And it's funny that you said that you buy figures sometimes just for accessories. I've done that so many times where I'll see like Marvel Select came out with this really cool line, or not Marvel, Diamond Select of Gotham figures.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
They had this Edward Nigma one that came with a desk that I bought. And then they have a bunch of alleyway pieces. So if I ever find those, I'll just pick them up just for the pieces that they come with.
Yeah.
Like screw the figure. I'm not doing anything with
that.
that.
Figure out.
Get the figure out of here.
Nate even bought some WWE stuff that one day because it came with cool like background stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Was it some of the folding chairs or something like that was in there that was pretty cool?
Yeah, folding chairs, like a fire extinguisher. There's ladders. Yeah, the to Larry's point, the wrestling figures are some of the best ones for like accessories because they have a lot of just general stuff.
Oh,
like a trash can or a ladder or something. Things that you don't really find anywhere else.
Right. It's not just guns and like unique accessories to the character.
Oh yeah, right. Like there's those two Canadian guys from SNL that come with a little cooler and some little chairs. Like people go crazy, and I finally found them at a toy show, dirt cheap. It was like $10 each. I was like, yeah, open them. And I was going for the cooler. I just left the figures are still in the box. Like it's.
I just
sit over there. I need this cooler.
Nate, I don't remember if I told you, but on Zach Ryder's podcast, they teased that they're doing a Ringside Collectibles exclusive. It's like a podcaster's table, and it comes with microphones and headphones and stuff too. You got to get the podcaster's table. I want to get a Batman versus Superman podcast, John.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
With the arcade cabinet in the background.
I bought I found it at Goodwill one time. It was like a ringside set, and it came with like a bunch of different fence pieces and like a table, and just like to Larry's point, like the wrestling stuff. It always adds in something else that you need that you didn't think you need. But like the fences, I've used so many freaking times now. I'm so happy I picked them up when I did.
Well, that's the thing. Like most dios aren't going to have a fence.
Mm-hmm.
If it is, it's like either painted or like mounted to the wall. But having that where you can, make like a cross section with a fence, like a real alleyway would have, adds a lot cool. So yeah, those little off the wall accessories are little hidden gems, and it adds a whole lot to it.
Well, I think that's where guys like Josh, you come around and you start wanting to look at other props that you can get and like unique pieces that people don't have, and that's where I found Josh's page. I was like, I need to get some kind of arcade cabinet because it would be so cool to be able to set up a scene like that. And then, like I said, I saw the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one. I had to get it, and I think it's if I had just unlimited supply of money, I would probably just be buying all kinds of props and shit. But I love how you did the Xbox, the PS4. You've done I saw you did that Turtles dio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with the couch, the couch and everything. Like, yeah,
the couch, the fridge. So the guy that got it, he sent me a picture. He's like, I kind of want this, and I was like, I'll do everything and what's in that picture. So I did a fridge. I did a TV with the insert of April O'Neil reporting on there, and the TV actually opened from the back, so you can put little lights in there. Designed the table. Yeah, the couch was real fun to make. So it was, and then I made a samurai mask with two swords, so I could put them up on one of the walls.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you made one of those like training. I don't even know.
Yeah. Well, my favorite aspect of it is that you weathered the couch, so it doesn't look like a new couch. That is a used by teenagers couch.
Yeah.
Dirty, nasty couch. I love it.
Exactly. That is a couch that has been in the sewers for 15 plus years.
Couch. You're gonna find a couch in the sewer. It's probably gonna be real dingy.
Yeah, like it's
some magic.
Super cool.
Magic has happened on that couch.
More than once.
That's cool. I saw a picture of your son taking photos too. He's starting to get the itch.
Yeah, he's probably had it since so he's 7 now. Probably since he was 3. That's when I really started making dials. So, I'd be in the backyard just making some dial stuff. And he's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I'd take pictures of the dials, sending it to the customer. And he's like, and then he'd go start putting up his little toys and stuff. And he was into Imaginext, and he had all the little Iron Mans and everything. So now he does his all setup. He's like, "Look, just like you." And I'm like, "Yep, let's start taking some pictures."
That's cool. Something to share with something like that.
It's a good little hobby to be able to share.
Yeah, but you've done some great photos too. You go back. I know you've been doing a lot of arcade cabinet stuff.
Yeah.
You start going down to your page, I can find a lot of your photos. And I got to ask you, where did you find that Jack Nicholson Joker head sculpt?
Man, it's like I get so much. I start losing count. Where did I get that Jack Nicholson?
Sorry, I'm kind of just saying it randomly, but I'm just scrolling through. I'm like, holy crap, is that a Jack Nicholson Joker?
Yeah. He's probably right back here. Yeah.
No. I'm going to cause him to.
I know, something's going to fall.
Don't fall.
We'll do the play-by-play. Josh is stepping up, carefully reaching into the deep top and pulling out the Jack Nicholson Joker. There it is.
Did you paint Dance with the Devil in the Pale Moonlight?
Yeah.
Did you
paint favorites, but I didn't paint them. I got it commissioned.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I love Joker.
I have a Heath Ledger coming up my way too.
Oh, nice. I just got the NECA Heath Ledger Joker. That thing's amazing.
Yeah,
I went for a while, but sorry, I got on a Joker tangent. I had to ask.
You're allowed.
Nate's a fan, and he needs to know.
Yeah, no, I can't remember where I got the head sculpt from. It might be Action Figure Customs. I think I might have gotten it from him.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I've seen him before.
Yeah, because he did the Michael Keaton head cast, and I think I might have gotten the Jack Nicholson one from him.
Nice.
So yeah, it's like having this one. I'm like completes it. So
yeah.
Nate, do you have any custom heads?
I do have one for my Hulk. It's a Steve Buscema style Hulk head.
A Steve Buscemi?
I think it's Buscema.
Did I say that too?
Steve,
you're both right. Steve Buscemi's the guy from Fargo.
Yeah.
I'm now picturing the Hulk, but it's Steve Buscemi. He's turning into the Hulk.
I actually want that now more than the one that I have.
Oh my god!
But yeah, I have a custom Tony Stark head sculpt too. I'm starting to, like I said, you only have a limited amount of funds that you can use for stuff like that, but I'm trying to get more and more unique custom stuff because I think people really notice it when you put it in a shot.
Oh yeah,
it stands out. Yeah,
very cool. Yeah, I was gonna say like that's a whole nother thing, man. There's so much that until you sit down and think about it, like there's so many different ways you could go, so many different things you can buy just beyond the stock. You know, the stuff you get from Mezco or going to a toy store. It's cool.
Yeah. That's
cool. That's the way too. So you can start to look into like, oh, I want them to look like damaged, and not a lot of those figures are going to come with like a battle damage version. So having that custom is the only route to really go.
I mean, the kind of the fact that the Mezcos, I'm recently all in on Mattel WWE Elites. Like even some of those come with multiple heads.
He is. I can say Larry is.
Yeah,
we've gone to several stores.
Yeah, thanks Scott for going for a lunchtime run to where'd we go? Five Below,
and you found
Walmart the other day. Yeah,
those are great places to go. Like Ross, Five Below. If you want to try find like cheap figures, $5. It's great.
Yeah. But even like some of those nowadays come with multiple heads. Where like I don't know, 5-10 years ago. You didn't get that kind of stuff. Like you got just a basic figure, no extra hands, none of that stuff. So it's cool. It's cool how all this stuff has started to progress. So yeah, that was kind of my point.
Yeah,
I lost it on the Five Below.
Well, I think
Five Below.
You kind of bring up a good point though. Like I think toys and toy photography in general seems to be kind of blowing up lately. Like there's a lot of people that I follow that are starting to get sponsored by different companies. They have people selling figures. Even the customizing game, there's people that are getting like sponsored, and I think Crashbox Customs, he got hired by Mezco to do a couple of dios for San Diego Comic-Con. It seems like there's the flashlight's kind of on that community a lot, and people are really starting to get noticed. So, it's cool that the community is so supportive that way because everybody's just all about promoting each other. Yeah. And that's one thing I really love about it. Everybody's very accepting, always willing to help, and you can always find somebody that's selling something that you're after.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's cool. Or we're right. If you got questions, you can reach out to people like Nate or Tyler. Batman Figs. Like everybody seems super helpful. So that's cool.
Yeah, definitely. So you build all these different arcade games. Which one would you say is your favorite arcade game?
I would probably the Marvel vs. Capcom.
Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah,
that was without question, man. You didn't even hesitate.
When I first was putting it together, looking at the original Marvel vs. Capcom, it was just red on the side. There's no graphics or anything. So I slapped on. What I remember, what really stood out to me was the what was it like? PlayStation game cover, and it had all the characters facing each other. And I'm like, what? That would be a dope like side art panel for the game. And I threw it up on IG, and it just blew up. People were like, "Oh my god, I gotta have it!"
So you actually improved upon that cabinet.
Yeah. Sometimes I get requests, and they're like, "Oh, I want like what was it? I think it was Double Dragon and the original Double Dragon, it just has the manufacturer's logo on the side. It's not even nothing fun. Or some of the older, what Neo Geo or Data East, it just says Data East on it. And I'm like, oh, it's not that fun of a side panel. I'm like, but I could do this. Like there's a Street Fighter custom that I did, and I threw up some Street Fighter characters, and people just prefer that because I think to me that's a little bit more fun.
Right. Mm-hmm. You don't just get the Namco on the side of the cabinet.
Exactly.
Right. Screw like historical accuracy.
Yeah.
I want the fun one. That looks better.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the second is no one remembers that like Street Fighter just had the Bandai Namco or whatever on the side, right? No one remembers that. So if they look at the photo, they see that one with that image of everybody on there, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that is 100% what that cabinet is."
Yeah.
Like you can trick that nostalgia a little bit without it being the legit cabinet, because those cabinets are not fun.
Yeah.
You know, the best thing they had was just the visor or whatever it is at the front that had what the game was. It's so if the game failed, they could just gut it and put a new one in there without any problem.
Yep.
So.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's funny because people like, I'll get requests. I need the Marvel's Capcom 1, just like this one. I'm like, well, yeah, that's what I made. It was, you never saw one at an arcade shop or at a game room with the side panels like that. And they're like, okay, and then they'll get the part 1 and they're like, oh, I need part 2. And does it come with the characters? I'm like, yeah, it's going to come with the characters.
Okay. So we got a question here I'm going to throw up from Funkos with Chris here, because I think this is a good one for Larry. Would you ever make one of the old Simpsons ones? The Simpsons arcade.
The blue one.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've made it.
So it's already there.
It's already there.
The 4-player Simpsons
That
cabinet.
one has to be like one. That was, I think, when I first rolled them out, that was like waves. So I try to do them in waves, like every month. I think, geez, how long is it? Since last year? I've been doing like September. I did Mortal Kombat 1, TMNT, and Marvel's Capcom 1. And then in October, I did X-Men, Simpsons, and Captain America. And then in November, I did another 3. So yeah, Simpsons was quite some time ago.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I think that was the first one I saw that you did. I feel like it was a while ago.
Yeah.
I'm a big Simpsons fan. And it's like, if you ask me what my favorite arcade game is, that's probably my favorite arcade game. I thought about buying. Like, I don't really do Mezcos or 112s, right? But like, I still kind of wanted it because it's that cool. Just to have throw on a shelf or something.
Having so it's a good talking piece. To be fair, even if you don't photography, like if you don't take pictures, it's still something cool that like somebody's gonna walk by and like, where the fuck did you get a mini arcade cabinet?
I have one customer who's like, he works in finance and stuff, and he's like, they're just in my office. He's like, and he's like, I'm a huge arcade like video game buff, so he's like, these are just nostalgic, and it's a decorative piece in my office.
Yeah,
I would go ahead.
I was gonna say I would buy them for that exact reason, just to kind of display like my love of the different arcades.
Yeah, right. I've had 2 like girlfriends buy them for their boyfriends, which was at first when the girls hit me up, I was like, oh, that's okay. I don't think I've ever had a fee, but they're like, oh no, it's for my boyfriend or it's for my fiance. I'm like, oh, cool, right on.
Nice, that's cool. Yeah, when I don't use mine in shots, it's in my TMNT display.
Yeah,
and I usually have at least one turtle playing it just while it's displayed.
That's what I was thinking. If you got a nice Simpsons shelf or something, you need that to go on there. Or there's merch for all those games now, right? Like Street Fighter and the turtle stuff, of course. Like they're so perfect. Just even if you're not doing toy photography.
Yeah.
So do you have any upcoming? I know you just recently did a sale, so you're probably taking a little break for a while. But do you have like any hints of what you might be working on next?
So Mortal Kombat 2 is coming up soon.
Nice.
Area 51, and the other one that I have is Killer Instinct.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah, Killer Instinct. And then I'm gonna try to do in October some more with like retro, like Rampage. There's Primal Rage. Those are kind of lined up.
Nice.
That's awesome. There's so many, man. Right?
Like the list
even though you're making similar, like there's so many. Like I like the way you kind of rotate every couple months. Just keeps it fresh. There's so many classic arcades.
Well, and the weird thing about the arcades is not all the cabinets are alike. So you always have to kind of go and like redesign it a little bit to look like, oh, this is what the Namco ones look like, and they have this weird angle.
Even just like in their height, they kind of differ too. So like I'm lucky enough that at my day job we have a employee room where there's arcades in there. So I'm always in there just kind of like playing the arcades and they're like I'm just doing some research, just making sure like we have NBA Jam. Like I'm actually trying to do NFL Blitz this month since football season's about to start. So hopefully I almost have everything down for NFL Blitz. But we have NFL Blitz. We got this bowling game. It's like bowling / golf, and it doesn't have any buttons. It just has like.
Is it the spin wheel one?
Yeah, the spin wheel.
Yeah,
nice.
So things like that, I'm like, I need to tackle those that type of stuff.
Golden Tee.
There's a less popular.
Golden Tee. Yeah.
That would actually be probably pretty popular.
That would be pretty sweet, actually.
That's in like every sports bar I've ever been to. So, yeah.
It's probably one of the most recognizable arcade cabinets out there.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's like Golden Tee, and then there's a bowling game inside too. So
that's cool.
If you get the bowling one figured out too, there's a less popular Simpsons bowling game too. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Oh, really?
People might like that one too. Yeah, it came out quite a bit after the 4-player one, but
okay.
I'm pretty sure somebody would dig a Simpsons bowling game.
Yeah,
this guy.
I know one guy that would.
I'll make it nice.
Nice.
So when you think about new ideas, I know one of them was smart that you said NFL Blitz because it's football season soon. But is it usually from a special request that you're branching out, or is it something just like I haven't done that before? Let me try that.
Sometimes it's from a special request that I'll just start seeing the trend. I'm like, man, I'm getting a lot of these type of requests. Like I get a lot of questions. Or I did a poll a couple months ago, and it's just like a chart of all these different arcade silhouettes. And I was like, hey, this is where I'm at. I've made 16 different types of styles. What would you guys like to see? Like trying to base it off the audience,
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
So, yeah, that survey gave me a lot because it just showed me that the net's super wide because we had like really retro games like Dig Dug, and then we had like very specific, like someone was like, oh, I want a Deadpool arcade game or like a Dragon Ball Z. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a little bit like really small niche, but
no, but that's like that makes sense too, right? If
your
favorite character, like you could make you want a Deadpool arcade game. That totally makes sense.
And I'm like, so I can go like real specific, like accurate, like Scott was saying, or I can just like make some custom ones,
fantasy ones. Right?
Yeah.
I wish you would have had in the 80s or 90s.
Yeah, like I wish I had a Deadpool video game that back in the day. Like that would be super cool. So yeah, having an arcade cabinet like that's cool. Rob is bringing up some Crazy Taxi, so which I'm pretty sure is would be pretty similar to that the Cruisin' USA cabinet. So when you get that made, you'll have to make the Crazy Taxi as well.
Yeah, I got challenged to make Afterburner, and Afterburner is like a crazy encapsulated arcade.
Yeah,
and then someone else like, oh, make the Jurassic Park one. And I was like,
hold on a second, guys.
yeah, hold on. I gotta find curtains now for the Jurassic Park one.
That's nuts, man.
That would be cool.
That's so cool. Like, I really respect people like you that have that artistic talent that can actually make something from your imagination, actually make it into physical form, because I just don't have talent like that. So I think it's always super impressive when I see people making custom things and just being able to, think of all the pieces that you need, because it's not just like, oh yeah, there's this cutout on the web that you have to find. You have to design all of this. You have to measure it all out. You have to like make sure it's accurate. And like you said, you have to find like, good pieces that go along with it. So it's just crazy to me that you could build something up from scratch like that. Do you have like templates for certain sizes? Okay.
I have them all cut out, kind of set aside, so this way I don't have to remeasure. Like I'll have like some arcades ready for SHF. I have some that are the 4-player. They're already kind of measured out. And really, like these last probably like 6 months, that's really because the need has been really there and the volume has been really high. I've had to kind of like prioritize and be more efficient and not have to measure every single arcade I make. So I have like, okay, the 2-player is a standard size measurements, the 4-player is a standard size, and then the 6-player.
Yeah. Well, like we were kind of talking about this before the podcast. It's not like you just go on to, Amazon Prime and it's at your house 2 days later. This guy's actually making this stuff as you order it. So you got to give them the time. Do you feel like people are usually pretty understanding of that, or do you have to kind of remind people a lot? Like,
it's like 1 out of 10. So for the most part, I think individuals are pretty understanding, especially those that are kind of like in the neighborhood of already getting stuff customized from customizers, right? Okay. So there's like, if you've ever ordered something from like somebody else that's a little bit larger, sometimes the wait time is like 6 months. Like I ordered a head cast and I literally had to wait 6 months. But it was straight from the get-go. The guy was like, hey, this is my time frame. I'm doing it all by. I'm like, okay, yeah. And then 6 months later, I received my piece. So a lot of times, there's every once in a while they'll be like, hey, what's the status? Like they want a status like every single day. Where I'm like, okay, I still have a 12-hour day job that's really demanding. I still have like a wife and kids that I have to report to,
Yeah.
And then when I have time, then I can go and tackle those arcades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just how we like as a society are on everything. Right?
Yeah.
Like
it's the need it now society.
Yeah. Like I'm big into Funko Pops. Like so many times, like something came out like 2 weeks ago, and you see all these posts like, "Oh, I finally found this."
Yeah.
Dude, it's been like a week and a half. Like,
You have not spent a lifetime on this. Shut up.
You gotta wait a couple weeks. You gotta wait a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the CEO. I'm the guy in the mailroom. I'm the delivery guy. Like I'm the
You're marketing. You do it all.
Yeah.
I'm also
you gotta
had a delivery guy. It's the same guy. It's me. Like I could just spin in my chair and be like, "Yep, it's me."
That's me again.
That's me. Customer service. I'm everything. And like they know me at the post office now. Like, oh, this guy again. Like, all right, you filled up our kiosk because I try to use the kiosk and just go there where there's no people. And they're like, no, Josh, you filled it up. Just bring it up to the front counter.
Just drop it off with us. You cause too many problems.
I'm sure they love to see you walk in like, oh shit.
I usually walk in with like 2 big old bags, and I'm like, and that's the other thing. I try to like prioritize and schedule my shipping dates. It's either like Thursdays are a pretty good day, and then I don't work weekends, so then Saturdays. But then at the same time, like I don't want to spend my whole entire who wants to spend their whole entire weekend stuck in a garage making stuff? Like, I gotta go hunt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got that collector side of you that you gotta go hunt.
Yeah, we're talking toys, right? Not like elk. All right, just making sure.
Oh yeah.
If he wants to go hunt elk, let him go hunt elk. It's fine.
No.
I'll knock down a 6-year-old out of the toy aisle. So I can get
just for fun.
Yeah. I already have Storm.
Yeah.
I don't.
I already got that toy. I'm just gonna knock that kid over.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hunt's definitely part of the fun, though. Going out in the wild and actually finding something that you're really after, like finally finding it. Like, oh shit! Like when I found that Alfred, I had seen it online and I'd gone to a couple different Walmarts, but finally finding it in hand, it's just something else. Like the hunt's a big part of the game.
It gives you that adrenaline run. You're like, oh, I found it. Like I found the Walmart cap. I was just
nice.
And that wasn't even planned. I went there to get body washed and I walk out with like Captain America.
Yeah, but you got to check, right?
Oh yeah.
I don't not go to Walmart and check the toy aisle.
Yeah. You got to make a what? It's always like that hint of like, well, I got to go let my kid go look at the toy. No, I'm going to look at the goddamn toy aisle.
I take my kid to the toy aisle. I'm like, I went first. You just stay behind dad.
Yeah.
You can look at your stuff when I'm done, but let me find my things first.
Yeah, it's been so bad to the point where now when, Larry or Scott are out, they'll like send me a picture like, hey, do you need this?
Yeah.
Do you need that?
Yeah, I think I found that cap for you, didn't I?
You did. You found me the Walmart exclusive cap.
Yeah. So, it's good too. It's good to have friends. It's a community thing. You help each other out. It's fun.
Yeah, my brother is like he's like always hunting. I'm like, dude, aren't you ever at work? He's always hunting like 24/7. He'll be sending me text messages like at any time of the day. And he's the one that texted me about the GameStop sale. And I was like, what?
Oh yeah.
And it was just crazy. If it would have not been for that, I would have missed the whole entire thing.
Yeah, you got a pretty good haul, right? I don't think I've seen all of it yet.
No, and the GameStop sale, if you didn't get there, like GameStop opens at 11 on Sundays. If you didn't get there by like 1, all the good stuff was gone.
It was gone.
Oh, yeah.
And it was ironic because I woke up like at 5 o'clock that day, just randomly, and I saw his text. Went online. I bought everything online. I didn't even have to go to the store. I got a ton of stuff. I think I ended up spending like $120. Half of that was just the Hulk and Wolverine 2-pack, and the other $60 was just all like. I ended up getting like 18 figures. It was all $5.
Nice.
All of it was like aim sets. Those two pack aim. Again, having to army build.
I could only find 1 pack. I went online and I reserved it like when I woke up, but I only had one store around me that had 1 pack, and then by the next day, they're all gone.
Yeah, they're all gone.
Yeah. I think they actually stopped letting people doing online orders after that first day because so many people had reserved figs.
I think it was within like the first hour because I messaged our group. Like we all have those DM groups where we tell the rest of the guys. And as soon as I finished doing my orders, I sent it to the group and they checked and they're like, dude, it's already sold. Like they're all gone.
Yeah.
Crazy.
$5 is cheap, man. Like,
yeah. Especially
I thought it was dreaming. I was like, wait, $5 for 2-pack? I'm like,
it never happens unless it's at like, 5 below, like we were talking about. Yeah. But even a lot of the times you don't see legends there.
Well, usually if by the time it gets there, it's not the thing that you like anybody really wants.
It's like an army builder at that point. Like, all right, I'll just grab 10 of those.
Yeah, just because it's cheap and I want to buy something.
Yeah,
that's why I ended up getting a bunch of Lex Luthors from the DCUC, the prison one. It was like $3 at Walmart. I was like, okay, yeah. Now I got a bunch of prison guys.
Yeah, I really wish I would have grabbed some of those because I've seen those used in so many photos. Because you can just swap the head out and make it somebody else. It's fantastic.
And then once you see that, you're like, oh, why didn't I think of that?
You're like, why didn't I get that? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's so funny. Oh, man. I wish we could go on for longer.
Yes. But we're hitting our hour here. So, Larry,
well,
do
Josh,
your thing.
Well, first off, Josh, remind us again where we can find you online.
So you guys can check me out at prime2da1st on Instagram and Twitter. It's prime2da1st. Feel free to shoot me a message, and then I'll put you on my wait list. I have a wait list going on for my next wave.
Nice. So do you always kind of take orders? Like you're never going to turn somebody down?
I'm always constantly taking orders, and I try to accommodate those. I know how most collectors kind of work. They have everything kind of planned out, so I'm more than understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, yeah, you've always been a great guy every time we've interacted, man. I'm very thankful to know you in the community. You've always been super supportive of me. And, I hope we can get you on NECA's page again. I'm going to be doing more of those photos, and I'm so glad that worked out the way it did because I had like at least 5 or 6 people that I was pointing your way like, hey, just hit up prime2da1st. They'll get you an arcade cabinet. So I'm glad that worked out, man.
Well, I know your birthday just passed, so I have a TMNT Turtles in Time headed your way shortly.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah.
No, man. You're not going to do that. That's damn, I just got super excited.
you just turned Nate into a giddy girl.
Oh, God. I'm losing my words.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome, dude.
Nate will take some great shots of it. So
Yeah. Well, thanks guys for having me on, too.
Yeah, worries. We appreciate it.
We appreciate you coming. After you check out Josh, on Instagram, go follow the STS Guys on Instagram. We are at STS Guys. We're on Twitter at STS Guys. We're on Facebook at the STS Guys, and I'm Larry from the STS Guys. And then I know if you have any money left after buying Josh's awesome custom arcade cabinets, and you like Funko Pops, head over to shumistore.com. Shumi's got all the new ad icon stuff that dropped this week, like the Chester the Cheetah, like the Coca-Cola Polar Bear.
I just bought one.
Yeah, Scott got that Polar Bear on pre-order. You can get all those at shumistore.com. And if you enter code STS Guys, you're going to save 10%.
Show them like a villain.
And then, I know you love podcasts. You should go check out the new podcast app, Podcoin. It's available on iOS and Android. You can listen to all your favorite podcasts like the STS Guys, like DC Figures and Collectibles, like Talkin' Pops, like Pop Collectors Alliance. We're all on Podcoin. Podcoin is the app that pays you to listen to podcasts. And if you enter code STS Guys, you're going to get a bunch of bonus coins so you can earn those real-life cash rewards sooner. Podcoin. It's the best.
It is the best.
One day we're going to get flagged for that.
Oh, you know what? Yeah. I am waiting for, it's going to be the crowning achievement to get the cease and desist, honestly.
This is London Gold. Please stop.
So, all right. So, with that, for episode 99 of the STS Guys, I am Scott.
Hey, it's Larry.
Hey, guys, it's Nate.
And bye.
You're still Scott.
Yes. Yeah, and I'm still, Bye, guys.
Thanks for joining, Josh.
Thanks, Josh.